So what would happen if the grid's protector becomes its destructor?
Hey, who's that guy?
That's Tron, he fights for the users.
When perfection has no room for chaos, and the program's original purpose is shattered.
Tron, what have you become?
Tron's tragic story is of a protection program that becomes a weapon of the villainous Clue and renamed Rinzler.
I fight for the users.
What would you think if I told you that Tron has undergone a new transformation that could have turned him into the grid's most dangerous weapon? What if Aries is the new version of Tron, created or modified by a Dillinger?
I'm looking for something. Something I do not understand.
Back to the gloomy grid we go. From the very first Tron film, the Dillinger family became known for their desire for power, and the first trailer of Tron Aries showed that a new Dillinger would be in the movie. Evan Peters plays Edward Dillinger's grandson, Julian. Ed Dillinger became infamous for stealing other people's work and modifying it for his malicious purposes. He was responsible for creating a major threat to the human world, the Master Control program. Now, about Tron possibly being Aries, it's important to understand that the Dillinger family never could create. They steal and modify what already exists. Edward Dillinger was one of the best programmers at Encom, yet he was never able to create an original idea. All of his work was modifications. His greatest creation was the MCP, which was a modified program that used to play chess. And Ed's rise to power at Encom was mostly thanks to the video game software he stole from Kevin Flynn. Dillinger wasn't creative, but he was ambitious, and that was reflected in the program modifications he made. The result of his actions as we know it led to the creation of the Master Control program, the artificial intelligence that nearly escaped the grid to take control of the world's defense systems. In Tron Legacy, a Dillinger family member was still employed by Encom, but not as a grunt software maker, but as a board member of the company. Edward Dillinger's son, Ed Jr., was one of the company's most prominent programmers and worked to change Encom's software distribution model, something that Flynn's son, Sam, disrupted by hacking into Encom and releasing the company's newest operating system for free, since charging people money for it was against his father's wishes. Although Ed Jr. isn't portrayed as an antagonist in his brief appearance in Tron Legacy, it's clear that his interests weren't entirely aligned with his fellow board members. Like his father, he wanted to grow his power and influence within the company. He didn't care about helping humanity, only about increasing the company's financial well-being and improving his family's reputation. Wanting larger profit margins for a company is understandable, but it raises a big red flag when the desire comes from the son of the person who created the MCP. Perhaps allowing Ed Jr. to stay at Encom was a big mistake, as his son might be destined to do what his grandfather nearly did, destroy the world with the help of a corrupted version of Tron. Julian Dillinger is the grandson of Ed Dillinger, played by Evan Peters. Not much is known about this person, but based on the first teaser trailer of Tron Aries, Julian kind of looks like he's inside the grid. We know that he does have an interest in artificial intelligence, but as a member of the Dillinger clan, we must understand that his family's history and archetype are not that of creators, but that of corruptors. Just as his grandfather created the Master Control program, Julian could be the one who creates Aries. Ed Jr., Julian's father, oversaw the development of Encom's Operating System 12, even though it incorporated code created by Kevin Flynn. Being that a Dillinger has been at Encom since the 1970s, it's possible that the family still has saved somewhere Flynn's games that were stolen by Ed Dillinger Sr., also all versions of Encom's OS, and all the products the Dillinger family has modified over the decades. Possibly the Dillinger family has better backup versions of Kevin Flynn's life's work, and once you comprehend this, you'll begin to see what Aries could be.
I'm looking for something. Something I do not understand.
If the MCP was originally a chess-playing program that, under Dillinger's corruption, transformed into a power-hungry and controlling AI, what other monstrosities could he have created just by modifying Flint's games? What if he got his hands on a certain program that destroyed his greatest bastardization? What could a Dillinger create if they had access to Tron? Now the story gets interesting. The fate of Edward Dillinger Sr. after he was outed as a thief is unknown, but his legacy lives on with an Encom through his son and grandson. Just as Ed Dillinger modified the MCP for his selfish benefit, someone in his family could have modified a copy of the program that destroyed it. Tron, the program that fought for the users, but now does the opposite. Now, are there any clues that point to Aries being a Dillinger family creation, their version of Tron? Well, I did mention one glaring detail in a previous video, the one where we talked about the new identity triangle. Here's the image again for your convenience. Look closely at Aries' identity triangle on his back. You can see the word Dillinger above it, which looks like a seal or logo. It could be the mark of a new version of the grid that wasn't created to serve users or to test programs, but to expand corporate control, the Dillinger grid. One crazy theory I'll be exploring further in the future is that the grid in the Tron Aries trailer is completely red because it's driven by this family's selfish ambition. But the most important clue of all could be the name Aries itself. In the first Tron movie, Tron was introduced as a hero. The program embodied faith in the users and fought to protect them. But in Tron Legacy, his legacy and his faith were corrupted by Clue. Although the story focused on Kevin Flynn's mistakes, the film showed how a legacy based on hope can easily be corrupted and turn into a shadow of its former self. How faith in others can be used by the system to fragment one's identity and drive us to fight against the people we love. In Tron Uprising, Tron is no longer just an individual program. His name, his history, his resistance became something bigger, a symbol. Tron became an idea to live by among the oppressed programs of the grid. It's no longer just who Tron is as an individual, it's what he represents: hope, freedom, and faith in the users. And throughout the series, his importance grows. How Tron as a figure, as a legend, begins to change and inspire others to rise against the grid. Tron Legacy, Tron Uprising, and the title of each episode of the animated series are tied to Tron. Now analyzing the title of the new film, and Aries being the god of war and destruction, could mean that the next movie will show us a side of Tron that we haven't seen yet. His destructive side, a harbinger of war and chaos. He is no longer a guardian, he is now the opposite. And if Aries is a version of Tron that was corrupted by Julian Dillinger, that would make him the most tragic character in this franchise. Tron was created to protect the grid and the users. His ultimate fate now appears to be of the one that brings about the end of the world. The biggest clue was always right in front of us. The reason the new movie is titled Tron Aries is simple. Aries is Tron, the Dillinger version of Tron. The series is about to encounter the greatest threat it has ever faced. So what do you think? Are you, like me, wondering where Kevin Flynn is? Did he die at the end of Legacy? Are the Dillingers destined to create the end of the world? Is a corrupted Tron going to bring the grid into the human world? I'm a Gloomy Geek, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Like the man says, there's no problems, only solutions.
Okay, remember this laser's my life's work. Don't spill anything. Huh? Have fun, sweetheart.